Olá, meus amigos, estamos de volta. Hoje vou falar sobre o filme Cómo falar con garotas en festas. Y bueno, amigos, espero que les guste la reseña y vamos. Bonjour, mes amis, on se retourne. Je veux parler sur le film Comment parler aux filles lors de soirée. And alright, guys, so let's just do this. And I'm just gonna talk about the film. Honestly, it wasn't my cup of tea. Like, I wasn't into it, to be honest. And I'll explain to you guys why and why I think the comic is better, much better. But I'm just gonna go and read my review. So I think How to Talk to Girls Party is one of the films that I found interesting at first. Hence, I decided to review it. And Talk to Girls at Parties is directed by John Cameron Mitchell and written by Philippa Goslet. I felt the film was exciting at first, similar to Shazam. You had the epic beginning with that damn song, New Rules, and I liked how the reggae song starting up, that was a typo, so they're all... however, this momentum does not last throughout the film. The music is the only thing that keeps the film afloat. The problem is that creative team wants us to care about characters that we don't care about because they're too weird. Anna and his friends are already weird, and this is something I've been critical about, guys. That like, the Anna and his friends are already weird, and then San, this alien girl, she's even weirder than they are. So this makes it really hard. And in contrast, Submarine. For all you guys who are, you're always asking me about Arctic Monkeys and my thoughts on Alex Turner and those guys. Like, I've told you guys that, like, I think they're making very local and specific music at first, but they still make good music, you know. But I'm a bit critical sometimes, you know. Not critical, but I question, you know, like, oh, but, you know, they seem, especially like some of the fans. But anyway, guys, so Submarine is a more thoughtful film. The Alex Turner-led film Stuck in a Puzzle is better. I think the reason is the characters have more personality, and for those you guys who didn't watch that film, definitely I recommend it to watch it, Submarine. And will I review that film? Likely, but sometime in the future. But I like it way more, because there we know that characters' parents, they're likable, we know the main character, and we also have Alex Turner with all his songs, which are good, and the female protagonist there is also more interesting. So N goes to a party with pocket money his mom gives him. His friends are very anti-monarchical because it's setting the punk era, 1977. And they stumble upon a mansion where a group of strange girls live. The girls do some weird sexual fetishes on his friend Vic, which leave him traumatized. Then they all leave, and then N, however, becomes friends with the alien girl's son. N and son bond and form a relationship, and N's mom is very strange. She's also on the heavier side. I don't know why this decision. And then what happens is that they form a relationship, but then N discovers she's part of this weird cult, which is not from California, but from outer space. And that cult engages in some very obscene practices. So at the end, they're all not gonna be around anymore. I'll just leave it like that, so not to spoil the film, but also because I don't want to get into details. It's very unpleasant, but they won't be around anymore. So then what she needs to do is like grow up and say that, well, I don't want to be part of the cult, you know. So pretty much what Anne is trying to do is try to get San out of the cult, and the story is sort of like that, but not really, because it's also super weird. And yeah, the film leaves you with more questions than answer, and not in a good way. You know, for all you Watchmen fans, since we're talking about comic books and stuff, like, you see the whole Rorschach stuff. Like, I won't go into details because then people will give me a hard time for that. But like, you see, like, it's very open-ended. Like, everything is open-ended. This film is like all about questions and not in a good way. Why does San like N? Like, he's not stellar in any way. He's not interesting either. What mission do San and her friends have? You know, like, we know some of her mission, but it's so, I don't want to use the word convoluted, but okay, like, it's like so complex, you know. They're talking in a very literal language. They're talking about a lot of stuff. Like you would need a compendium encyclopedia to get all the stuff these guys are saying, or watch it a bunch of times to truly get it. But what are all these aliens as well? Like there's a bunch of alien groups. It's not just her. There's like a bunch of groups. So they all belong to a species, and they all came to Earth. This is their last stop in their intergalactic journey. So, and the problem is this one, guys. Yeah, of course, I can like go in depth with all this stuff, with all this mythology, and try to like figure everything out. But at the same time, it's not interesting because the characters themselves are not likable. You know, like if you guys remember the Clockwork Orange, there's a whole mythology there. There's a whole vocabulary, but it's way more interesting. Here, it's just not interesting. Sure, there's elements. He has a necklace with a green pearl, which is significant, but it's just not interesting, you know, because the characters haven't earned our interest. You know, like I don't really want to like learn more about it. Like Anne's friend said, it just seems like a weird cult, you know. And this is unfortunate, and it's not like being unfair to the film. It's more like as an audience member, I'm seeing this and I'm turned off by it, you know, cinematography. So I'm not sure what's up with the camera work. Well, cinematographer DeMarco, and this name is interesting, like since Mark DeMarco, he also has a lot of songs about quotes and stuff like that. He was doing all these stops. Also, why? Yeah, and this is my critique. Like, why do we focus so much on the ugly side of things, you know? And this makes it even harder. People might say, "Oh, it's just a style," you know, it's just a style. Some people might say it's just a style, man, or just style. But the problem with this is that it's already hard to get follow this stuff. You know, it's already like the story's out of this world, and it's way more complex. You know, that story that the alien people are following, and on top of that, we have to deal with all the ugliness of punk. You know, I know like some critics are saying, "Oh, it's all individuality, man," but you get what I'm saying, guys. Like, it's already like we see Sam throwing up, and in that comic there's only one scene throwing up because it's merited, but she's just throwing up like from time to time and stuff like that. We also see her in a bathroom, a very unpleasant sort of experience where like Sam, and also this is very unpleasant as well, that like Sam Anne's mom goes to a bathroom and she's just there while Sam is using the bathroom. You know, it's just, we barely even know her, and you want us to share all those intimate moments with her. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and this grossness, like, I don't want to use the word, you know, because like I bet the creative team, they put a lot of effort on it, but like it just kept throughout the film, like all this bodily humor. And the problem with this is that I feel like when you read that comic book, it's not there. You know, it's very beautifully drawn by the Brazilian team, and they do a great job, and it's very different. Well, with these guys, it's just like they had their own interpretation of things, you know, which makes it so that story is already hard, and then you guys are making it unpleasant as well with the punkness, because punk is in itself weird. And I know the critics are saying, well, it's all conformity, that the aliens need to conform to values. Well, 1977 England, they're all like free-spirited and individual. It's like, I get the idea, but it just, I don't feel the idea, you know what I mean? Music does its job. So this is the best part of the film. Like, I talked about the reggae song, it's chill, the music is great, that damn New Rose is really good, Starting Up is also very good. Meanwhile, the best song is Climb Over Me by the Discords, and this is a really good song, and I enjoyed it, and it was a standout. But I feel apart from that song, like the music is good, and it's the only like welcoming part of the film where you're okay. I like the music, it's welcoming, but everything else is not appealing because like the idea is complex, the characters are dressed in a gross way and like talk, and then the dialogue is very unappealing as well. You know, so everybody in the film talk very literally. The problem with this is they are trying to be aliens. We just don't have a sense of grounding. Think about Han Solo. He grounded Star Wars. Here it feels like the characters are too otherworldly. Like, for instance, she says, like, this is the only line I like, their superior longevity, but like, that's a nice line, but then like, all the other lines are super complex, and I don't wish to be interrogated on this matter any further. And the thing is, some of you guys might say, oh, that's cute, you know, like, oh, she's talking in this cute manner, like, how cute. But at the same time, I feel like, who are we supposed to follow? You know, Anne, who's a punk misfit, he's already strange. Big, who's also strange, and he isn't strange in a comic book. For instance, his dress, he seems more like a cool guy. You know, here he's just weird, misfit kind of guy. You know, or the other friend, in a way. So we're not gonna follow them. And then we have this girl who's also weird. So are we supposed to? Who are we as an audience supposed to have empathy towards? Like, it's very hard because we don't even like resonate with any of them. You know what I mean? And I'll add this and why I think the comic is much better. So, like, the comic book doesn't make this mistake because the girls look like Victoria's Secret models. So you have already a feeling of familiarity. You know, you feel welcome. You have this push-pull effect. In contrast, the film, the girls are dressed in a very dissonant and confrontational way. Like, they are dressed in all black, red leather, chains, spikes, and very bizarre haircuts. So you already have the punks who are weird, and then you also have these aliens who are also weird. So it's hard, guys, you know. The setting, the outfit, and the weirdness. The house they go is very weird. Then you have the outfits, and most of them were made to create dissonance. And this is a key word, guys, dissonance. For instance, the alien girls wear all these orange outfits, and they also have black stickers on certain parts of their body as to resemble hair. And this is just very, I guess that word, nasty. I don't want to criticize that film for this, but like, not necessarily, but like, you get what I'm saying, because some of the adjectives might sound harsh, but what I'm trying to convey is that it's unpleasant, you know. Slap, who is the only somewhat likable character, like, she's this older lady who's part of the punk band and mentions the Ramones, the Sex Pistols, and all of them. She has this very messy hair, and it's silver, and also this like necklace with spikes. And then, okay, so all right, guys, so you have all that. You have Slap, she's somewhat likable, but not really. She also talks about her private parts, or like ovaries, like reproductive system. Like, it's all very unpleasant, but she's okay, she's passable. But then you have the cult, which they have even weirder goals. It's not like Eyes Wide Shut, where it's a sexy cult. It's more like a weird, strange cult, which they have some sort of human, I don't want to say what they practice, you know, but they have some human sacrifice sort of thing. Like, okay, I don't know if I can say this because of my audience, you know, because like a lot of people watch this, but like, they have these weird rites and stuff like that. It's very, very strange, you know. So you just feel unwelcome. Like, honestly, like, with this whole film, one word that sticks out is just unwelcome. You know, you just, as an audience member, I'm saying, you just feel unwelcome. Like, you don't really know Anne and his friends. This girl is just strange, and then the school is even weirder. So, and the punks they hang out with are also not pleasant. So yeah, guys, so it's very hard to emotionally connect with this kind of film. And my recommendation is read Neil Gaiman's and Gabriel and Fabio's book. That work is very high quality and more appealing, and the story is way more grounded. And I'll review the book in a little, but I'll just finish with this. So the main problem with the film is there's no sense of grounding. It feels more like a bunch of art students getting together and throwing ideas that they find interesting. As some of the critics have said, it makes for the film incoherent and unfocused. For me, the main problem wasn't the structure and the ideas. The main problem was the emotional investment. I didn't even know Anne that well to feel emotionally invested in his story. With Vic, even less. For some reason, I didn't connect with him either. And even worse, San. And I didn't connect with him because he's very strange as well. He's wearing all this like punk hair, these necklaces, these chains. You know, it's too aggressive, too confrontational. You know, it's no welcoming. And even where San is unlikable character, we see that the clothing she wears is a big sports coat, and this is a criticism that I don't see the girls in the comic book where she's covered in her coat. So she's talking strangely, and then she's also covered in her coat. We can't see her, we can't connect with her. You know what I mean? Creating distance between you and her. Why should we like her? Really. And also, I like the self-awareness in the comic, and I'll touch on this on my review of the comic, which is better. Like he said, like, well, they're just talking a bunch of nonsense, you know, but at least they're like very, very attractive in the film. You don't get it. But anyway, my friends, I'll see you in the next video where I'll